Yo, what up, Dan?
What's up, man?
Welcome back to FTP, everybody. We played Marvel Snap, the new card game, I guess you would say. Is it a card game?
Yeah. You'd call it a card game.
It's a card game. I guess it's kind of a card game. It's unique.
It's very unique. I enjoy it a lot. Like a lot.
I'm mixed on it. I mean, if for a short TCG, not even a TCG, it's just a card game. There's no trading or anything. Pretty good. I mean, there are things about it, like random card chances that can make it so you don't have a good time, and the ranking system being dictated on what cards you have. But I mean, semantics, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's on what cards you have, because I think the base deck you get,
Mm,
you can go a long way. You just, it's all about, heart of the cards, man. It's all about draw power and hoping you get the right thing, because you can have the best deck in the game, but if you don't draw the cards the right way, you're not going to win.
gonna have to hard disagree.
Um, and I think that's where we, are different on this game because, um, I lost you, I think, in your footage. I just didn't pull the right people, and I just got destroyed because I didn't pull the right people when I needed to pull them.
Yeah, but you
And you
still
beat
beat
me with,
me 6-2.
well, it would have been 6-3, but my morph got lucky and
Well,
transformed into
spoiler,
my
spoiler, spoiler, spoiler.
yeah, you're right. Spoiler. Okay.
So we've been playing Marvel Snap since it came out. I brought it to you that night, right?
Yep.
So we've been playing it for God, how long has Marvel Snap been out now? Like a couple months.
I don't think we played it the day it came out.
Oh no, okay, because it came out on October 18th, 2022.
Yeah, we didn't play until like last month.
Yeah. I thought it came out last month.
Negatory Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I think the game is uh okay.
Why do you think it's just okay? What's your opinion on it, mate?
The game itself is perfectly fine. Everything is there for a great game. However, uh I have to stand by the fact that you level up and you get mystery cards does make it harder for some people, because some people might get really lucky and pull very strong cards that are super useful, and it will make their experience a lot better. Or you'll pull cards that only work together with other cards, and it just doesn't really work cohesively. And you'll sit there trying to build a deck, and it's like, okay, I could do this, or I could try that, or I could try this, and there's a lot of if, ands, or buts going on. The basic cards that you get right out of the gate, yes, you can build a pretty solid deck right out of the gate, but there's not a lot of variety. I don't see a lot of people running variety decks, because if you have Rocket Raccoon only does one thing, right? There's not other Rocket Raccoons that do different abilities. You can change the artwork, but the ability never changes. And I think that's limiting the game, where I would like there to be a lot of different effects and a lot of different abilities. As of it right now, it hasn't been out that long, what, 4 or 5 months now?
Something like that, yeah.
I will continue to play it, but man, I it got old pretty quick for me.
Um, See, not for me, and I'll tell you why.
It
Because
isn't early access, by the way.
you don't like. I like the randomness on the cards because people play different decks. If you all had the same unlocks at the same level at the same time, you would see the same deck every single time.
I run into the devil dinosaur deck probably once every 3 matches. And if it's not
I
that,
don't.
it's Apocalypse, and if it's not Apocalypse, it's some cheese strat that just buffs the entire field, which is fine because those are the 3 decks I run as well. But I haven't seen greater variety yet. Again, this is early access, so it's very inclined to change down the road. So take this with a grain of salt if you're watching this, let's say 6 months down the road, and the game is completely different.
That's where like I said, like I don't see. Maybe it's because I'm in a higher rank.
Mhm.
I don't see those decks you're talking about.
We have
I
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
huh?
you off. I didn't mean to cut you off, go ahead.
No, like I didn't see any of those at all. So like that's where I'm like confused a little bit because like I said, I didn't see.
You've had pretty good luck pulling cards out of the mystery.
No. I'm talking about the decks you're playing against. I don't see those in the higher ranks. It's a different deck every game I play.
I don't know.
That's why I'm like confused. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it's bad. I want to be clear. I don't think Marvel Snap is at all a bad game. I think it's a great time. It's a good game to pull out with your friends if you're in the car, if you're watching TV. But this isn't something that I would dedicate much time to. This is just something that I would throw a little time at with the boys. Maybe try to get to iron or I'm sorry, not iron, silver. And then I'd probably be happy with it until next season. Like, the challenges are pretty cool. It inspires you to make new decks. That's cool. The missions are okay. They're not all that complicated. I mean, the game isn't all that complicated to begin with.
Um. See, I'm I don't know, man. I really enjoy the game
Go ahead.
and the missions. Some of them are complicated, dude. Like some of them are you need to win one location with under 10 power, which sometimes takes me forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
But I can see why, why you wouldn't prefer it as much. Um but I like the brain tease, you know what I mean? I like having that I need to outplay them as much as I can. Like that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah, that the middle lane stuff, like you have those 3 tiles in the middle that change up every single game is super nice because that means that the deck that you chose might not be perfectly well suited and it makes you have to play very tactically and try to throw your opponent off. I do enjoy a lot of that aspect. There's a lot of psychology play going on. Like, oh, he played an
Uh,
Ant-Man. He's gonna try to fill out this section to get his Ant-Man powered up. But you might have played that Ant-Man to distract the enemy to go for that tile while you're setting up something for the other tile.
one thing I so for that, there's one thing I really don't like about the switching. There's one that literally takes the game over and you can't play.
Well, yeah.
Like, what's the point of that?
I mean, there's a lot of bad tiles. Like, there's tiles where you can't even play a card. Like, it just doesn't work.
What do you mean you can't play a
Like,
card?
there's some tiles that are like, oh, on turn 3 through 5, you can't play cards here. It's your third tile. It shows up on the third turn. That tile is completely empty until round 6. So for the first 2 turns,
That's
it's
but that strategy though, that makes you really think. You know what I mean? Like
oh, of
that
course.
is
Yeah,
because it your deck could be all used for something, and that's how it
I agree.
your deck could be oh I need to put certain cards here. Well, now your whole deck is just screwed. Now you got to think of a different way to win,
Mhm.
which I think is super interesting.
I just wish there were more game modes. I think it really comes down to more game modes for me. I would like a 5 tile game where you have a double sized deck and it's 16 rounds or 14 rounds. I I just think right now the game is It's very well made. It's just a one-trick pony, and I'd like to see more done with the cards.
I see what you mean. Downside is we just don't know what the other cards are because there's so many cards we haven't seen. So
That may
what?
also leads me to assume that there's not as many cards as we think. That's also a big issue that I have is
Well, I think there's 200 something cards. 250. Actually, I can tell you right now. There's a website for it.
I would say this is a game that I would tell people to play. I would let them know ahead of time, like, like show some restraint. I wouldn't put a lot of money into it until the developers put forth a little bit more effort. Because, the animations are cool, the artwork's cool, the abilities are cool. A lot of it's community curated. I love community curated content, so I'm a big advocate for that. But I would like to see, multiple Spider-Man cards with different abilities, with different artwork, multiple Captain America cards with different artwork that have different abilities. Little things like that would really up my experience with this game because then I could be more decisive with the deck I build. It's just really comes down to little things like that.
I mean, I get that. Um, but what I think, I think there, how do I put it in words? It needs to stay randomized for what cards you get because then everybody's gonna be running the same thing. So
Mhm.
you get 4 years down the road, everybody's gonna be running the same deck. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's what's gonna happen. So right now, it's nice. So maybe what they could do in the future is it might piss people off, but add wipes. Because if you
Ooh,
do wipes every so often, and then you got to start from zero, and you start with different cards in your deck, your whole strategy you have to redo it all.
yeah, that would probably be really bad for the casual community it seems that this is focused on.
Well, you know what? Casuals get good.
Yeah, but you won't even play Elden Ring with me.
Because it's not my style of game.
I'm just fucking with you.
No, you're a bully. Got him.
I understand why you enjoyed this game as much as you do, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to like a TCG, and this very well could be because I grew up, playing. I was in Yu-Gi-Oh Club, I was in Magic Club, I was in Pokemon Club. I had gone to Pokemon competitions. I had played TCG in regionals here in New York for 6 years. I competed. I just don't really see this blowing up. I don't know what it is about the game directly. I'll continue to play it, but not as often as you would think. I'd rather open up Dokkan, Call of Duty Mobile, something like that.
But it's not a trading card game.
I know.
And that's, maybe that's like you said, because that's what you grew up with. But
Hmm.
I'm going into it thinking it's just a game on its own,
Of course,
where it's a good idea because people like the idea of card games.
of course.
Now maybe if you could go out and buy, say, you can go out and buy these packs and get random mystery cards per pack you buy, that'd be something interesting.
Yeah, but I'm not.
But at that, it's
Yeah,
like when people play Pokemon, they go out and they get a code card or whatever it
yeah,
is
that's true.
that you get in the cards. So, and that would cause them to be able to A, make money
So you're
and
saying,
create more cards.
let me real quick clarify. Are you saying Marvel Snap should have a physical game
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
where you get a code from buying physical collector cards?
Yeah, and then each pack you buy, you get one mystery card for the online game.
That would be cool. I agree with you there. That would be a fun alternative way of handling it because right now I see no reason to buy this season pass. I see no reason to pay for pretty much anything in this game. Everything I look
Oh,
at is
I'll never
dumb.
pay for the season pass, and I'll tell you why I'll never pay for the season pass. Because you get cards that you can pull from the mystery variant, um, and you get one card, and the rest of it is variants to cards you already own. I don't care about variants that I already own. I could care less if the card looks different. Um, but what's nice though is every season pass, they're releasing new cards.
Mhm.
One new card per season pass, which is cool because then you're not overflowing the game with it.
Mhm.
Um, but that being said, you still need to play the game to use that card.
Right.
And just because you get that card, it might not be good for your deck that you use.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna build God, I think I have 6 decks right now.
And I got 6.
Yeah. You're gonna wanna
I
build a
got
bunch of
5
them.
playable decks, 1 mission deck.
And I mean, season 1, you made it to lower silver? You were lower silver, right?
Yeah.
And right now you're lower gold?
I'm 2 levels out of gold.
Or
I'm
you're 2 levels out of gold.
37.
But you were in gold for
So
a minute there.
yeah, and then I lost like 4 in a row.
Because I don't see any pay to win aspects occurring. I mean, I glanced around and everything seems to be cosmetically focused, different card variants and things like that. Like, yeah, it seems to work just fine. But I wouldn't mind, again, like a variant having a different ability. Like, that's still fine with me. Like, maybe if they run out of cards or run out of ideas, that would be a good place to start.
I agree with that. I think the variants should have different abilities, but to what extent?
Minor.
And then the only thing you're gonna have then is, you're gonna have people complaining like, "Oh, you're just recycling old cards, yada yada yada." I see it in the Madden community all the time. They put out a legend that was out 4 weeks ago. Oh, you're just recycling cards. Well, now he's got better overall. In this game, oh, he's got a slightly different ability.
Well, it could be more than
I
just an
think their
ability.
ability
Like
would have to be.
you could have a variant. Like let's just use the Rocket Raccoon example again, right? Raccoon on reveal, he's a 1/2, but he gets a +2 if your opponent plays a card, right?
Yep.
Let's say there's a variant where it's Raccoon plus Groot, and it works more like a Gamora because it has a Groot and a Rocket Raccoon, it's a 6/5 or a 6/7, and you're gambling on your opponent playing something. That's what I mean by a variant, where it's the same
So that
card, but
wouldn't
a
be a
different
variant.
card.
That would be like in Pokemon or in Dokkan, where they have, mixed cards, like team battle cards. Like they got the team up cards in Pokemon, they got
Sure.
the team up cards in. So that's a completely different card. A variant would be like a different variant to the card. So say you
Well,
have a
I'm using
pixelated.
an extreme example for to generate an idea. Like that would be a team up variant of a Rocket Raccoon card with Groot. But I'm also stating like you could do a Rocket Raccoon 2/5 and it has a different ability. Little things like that would go a long way.
Like a 2/5, but instead of if you play it, he steals a card because
Or
he always likes stealing things.
yeah, he steals a card 2/5 if your opponent plays a card -1 power. So then you're banking on them not playing a card. Like little things like that would be interesting.
It's only time will tell what they do. And there's over 230 cards, by the way, which
That's
isn't
pretty
bad.
cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It definitely feels like there's less cards. Like as you play, you don't encounter that many cards.
As soon as I got to gold, man, everybody had cards I've never seen before.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. People who have been playing since day one or something.
Yeah, they're all high levels,
Hmm.
you know, and low levels, everybody's gonna be running the same deck as much as closely as they can.
Maybe
But
it's
even
my
higher silver, I
jadedness.
don't see it. Huh?
Maybe it's just that I'm jaded. Like I'm just so used to things like Pokemon where there's thousands of cards and there's billions of different deck opportunities that are in front of you and there's no such thing as a meta. Little things like that go a long way with changing my perspective. I was playing Elder Scrolls Legends for a long time and I was playing the Magic the Gathering PC game for a long time. So maybe I just went in with too high of expectations and was disappointed by myself, not by the game itself.
Yeah, because it is brand new, and a game that just came out that's got over 200 cards is pretty good.
Mhm. There's definitely a lot of
Um,
effort here.
I just like I said, like you said, you're just used to all these billions of different types of decks.
Mhm.
And in those games, it is a lot easier to get cards. This game, it is actually a grind to get cards.
Right. This is a very grindy game.
So that's what it comes down to. Is it's the same, but it's different
Mhm.
as other games. Essentially, um, I really don't know what other game is like this other than the one you showed me. The Elden Ring.
Yeah, Gwent would be another one. Gwent is the Witcher card game. Gwent's pretty good. I never really got into it, but I always preferred the Elder Scrolls Legends. Yeah,
I played Magic on the Xbox.
it was good stuff.
I played a lot of Magic on the Xbox. That was fun.
I used to this is going way back in the day. We used to have mats that you would put in front of a webcam, and you would point your webcam in it at it, and there were groups where we would play Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon, but we would call each other, and people would spectate in the call, and like we would have brackets and stuff.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. I haven't seen much of that these days, but yeah.
I see people doing it. There's just two people that do it on TikTok all the time. They battle each other. They both have the Yu-Gi-Oh dual band thing, whatever it's called,
Oh, that's cool.
and they battle each other on TikTok every day.
Yu-Gi-Oh isn't something that I'm really all that interested in anymore. I think Yu-Gi-Oh's gotten way too complicated, and it has the exact opposite issue where Yu-Gi-Oh's too complicated. Pokemon's moved into that spot for me where it's like it's complicated enough for you to make some pretty outrageous decks that are pretty awesome to play that have a lot of action going on. Marvelous Snap to me is just like this quick, you can win it in the last two turns. You can win it in the last turn. Right? How many games do you win in the last turn? And I
A
don't know,
lot.
I don't feel very successful when it's just like, "Okay, I dropped a 620, I win." Like, I
See, that's the thing is you don't feel successful, but when you win the game, you feel successful. You're saying that because you've lost to it. Now, it'd be the same thing if I was running a Dino deck. I have my Moon Girl. I put her down. I have two dinos,
Mhm,
and I put and I put two of them down. It's still the last turn win.
right. I
But
agree
you
with
can
you.
you can counter those if you know where I'm gonna put it. You put down Shang Li or whatever his name is that kills anything above 9 power.
Mhm.
Um,
Which again is a
so you
random chance poll, you might not get it for a long time, like
or you use a deck against that deck that you steal a lot of their cards or you destroy their cards in their deck.
mhm. There's a lot of gamble at stake. I mean, even with the snap, which we haven't even talked about the snap yet. So in Marvel Snap, you at the top of your screen have the number 1 in a cube. If you click on that, your opponent sees it and they can snap back. And if they snap back, the you gamble your experience points essentially, and that's how you rank up or rank down. Is you're constantly gambling those. So it's a max of 8, minimum of 2 if I'm not mistaken, unless you retreat, right?
Yeah, it's max of 8, minimum of 1 if you treat early enough.
Mhm. But every game it has a minimum finish of you gaining +2 cubes, which go towards your
Yeah, if you
XP.
don't snap, it's +2.
Yeah. And I like that aspect. Like it's a very nuanced, basic way of gambling. I mean, I'm gonna use the term gambling. It's not really gambling because it's not like it's high stakes. You're not gambling money.
I would just say it's honestly it can come down to as another tactic because you're about to lose the game and you can snap where I knew I was going to lose the game because I didn't have the cards or the draw power, and they would just retreat because they thought I won the game and they didn't want to lose the points, or they snapped once and it's coming down to the fifth round and I knew I was going to lose, so I would snap and they would be like, okay, they would look at the board, they would sit there, let their timer run out, and they would retreat because they think they lost and they don't want to lose 8. So instead, they lose 4.
Right.
So you can use it to your advantage, or you can use it to where you're gonna get your butt kicked. And
Lose
it's
8.
happened to me. I lost a few ranks because all I was doing is snapping right at the beginning of fight, and I would lose.
Right. Right. I mean, this is a game in my opinion, I would say it's definitely worth a checkout. Um, I wouldn't put money into it just yet unless you're like really into Marvel, and this is like one of those games where you got to have every variant, which we know those pay pigs exists. Uh, hold off, hold off. Until we see like maybe they'll may add more game modes, which would be huge. I definitely want more game modes. I want a longer game mode. I want a more cards on the field game mode. I want something where there's more involved, maybe a maximum of 16 cubes or something, because there's more rounds. I don't know. Right now, it's not nuanced enough.
Um, yeah, I say try it, and I like the game a lot, and I still haven't put any money into it, and I won't be putting money into it. But I don't know how you would add extra game modes.
Add another
I
tile
don't,
and give it another 2 turns. Make a 4
but
tile mode.
that's not a different game mode. That is just a longer game.
Yeah, that's what I want. Longer game.
So a longer game, but it's still the same game mode essentially.
Yeah, like have a maximum of 6 cards, right? Like 6 is your maximum energy cost cards. And make 4 tiles, add 3 rounds, like 3 more rounds, right? Final round is, let's just for nuance sake say 11, right? 11 rounds. So you get 11 energy, but there's still only 6 power cards, and then it becomes down to the wire. And it'll make you not want to fill out so many areas because maybe you can take it over in the late game. Add another line of cards to your deck building that are like just for that game mode. Like your top 2 squares are for the 3 tile, and then you have another line that only activates when you play a 4 tile game mode, and so on and so forth. I just feel like that would add a lot. Maybe some people like myself are looking for something that is more chessy, more thought provoking than a I win in the last 2 rounds. Because that's really what it comes down to. Is I'm jaded by the fact that so many people win in the last 2 rounds.
You just and only thing I can say to that is
I suck at it. I don't know. I don't know.
you just gotta play a different style of game.
I've tried
You
very many
gotta
decks.
play. You gotta play for the last 2 rounds.
It's
You,
weird.
uh, that's what the game comes down to. You can't win a game in the first 2 hands anyway.
I know. I'm just saying I don't enjoy that. It's a personal bias. I don't enjoy that. I don't like playing all the way to the last round and then just having somebody steamroll you just because of luck.
I think you just don't like me beating you.
No, it's fine. You're good at the game. You enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. I don't want to take that away from you. I never would.
No, man, you just want to bully me into not playing.
No, I'm gonna continue playing it. I already said I
Bro, you
would.
don't play me no more.
Yes, I do. I played you earlier.
Yeah, for this video.
I move on to other
Mr.
experiences quick. You know that.
Yeah,
I've
that's why I
always
don't
been
buy
that way.
games that are cost money anymore.
Yeah.
I will not buy a game you tell me to buy anymore.
I have so many games, it doesn't even matter at this point.
Oh, bro, come buy this $40 game. Place it once. All right, man. I'm on to the next one. God damn you, Steffer.
Well,
So I like the free to play games.
that's why we made FTP. It's one of the reasons. You
Yes,
were
free to
like, man, we
play.
don't play enough games together, Ian. I want to play more games with you. We don't get to do nothing. Come on over, Dan. Let's make a podcast. Let's play some free to play games. Let's get this. And now you live at
Man,
my
I think
house,
that that was
apparently.
the other way around. But
We did it to
man,
each
I'm just
other.
waiting for a pickup truck. That's all I'm waiting for.
You want out?
Yes,
Man, I love you too.
man. No, you don't.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of FTP. And as always, you can find Feeney's YouTube channel in the description and in the comments section. If you like this video, give it a like, and a subscribe is very helpful. Check out the other FTP by clicking on the card in the top right, and that'll take you to the playlist of other free-to-play games that you can check out for yourself. Dan, any closing thoughts?
Well, as you all already know, see y'all in the next episode.
Later, everyone.